Hello everyone. Hello my friends. Thank you for being here. I don't say that enough. I really do mean it. I appreciate anyone and everyone who takes the time to watch my videos. I don't advertise a lot. I have a small channel. I'm okay with that. I would prefer that my channel grow by word of mouth because my content is good, rather than flashy intros or contest giveaways or whatever I could do. And that's not a knock at anybody who uses those ideas, because they're successful, and more power to them if it brings them the success that they desire. I'll never judge anybody. Who am I? And I hope people choose not to judge me on how I do my channel. But we're back to the series of a return to traditional values. I've already talked about what I believe traditional values in a traditional family are, and then I spoke about outside influencing factors that are unfortunately destroying those values. And now we're going to get into a little bit more direct conversation about the roles and responsibilities specifically geared towards men and women. And in this video, we're going to talk about men. So there has been an enormous breakdown in masculinity that's been in the making for quite some time. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist so much as, I just look at things and kind of say, yeah, I can see a driving force behind this. And if you really think about it, we look back at what's called the greatest generation, and men were far stronger and more masculine than, what's happening today. And, while there is so many more things factored into it today than there was then, the point still remains that men have a choice on how to respond. And it's not black and white, but still, we got to get back to being men. Let me start by saying masculinity in its purest form is not toxic. I'm tired of hearing that narrative. That is a narrative pushed forward by the current iteration of the women's empowerment movement. And it's just not true. True masculinity is not only physical strength, but strength of character, strength of leadership, strength of will, the drive to protect and provide for your family and loved ones. That is what true masculinity is about. It's not about being the guy with the most muscles trying to beat up somebody else, or, some really big guy walking around trying to push people around. And that's not masculinity. That's just being a jerk and a coward. But why was masculinity attacked? Where did that come from? And what are some of the factors that led to diminishing masculinity? Well, one of the things that I would like to start with, because I think it's probably the largest factor, goes back to the first video, the breakdown of the family unit. So, as a matter of fact, to give all credit where it's due, Denzel Washington actually was in an interview, and I forget who it was with, but I'm sure you can find it if you look for it. And, he was discussing I forget exactly what it was, but it had to do with young black men and, you know, getting into trouble and, you know, all these other things. And he blatantly said, where are the fathers? Where are the fathers at? He said, because I was going down a path where I could have gone bad, but my father pulled me back and cut me off from certain friends and said, oh no, you're not going down that road. And that's why he enjoys the success in life that he does, because he had a strong masculine male figure to put him on the right path, to teach him what masculine men, what it means to be masculine, to teach him about his worth and his value, and to teach him respect. And he was right, you know. So when it comes to modern families and you have all these single moms, for whatever the reason may be, whatever happened, you lose that. And then you have a mom, God bless her, the good ones anyway, because there's a lot that just shouldn't be, and a lot of guys that shouldn't be dads as well. But then you have a mom trying to fill both roles of the soft, caring, loving, nurturing, supporting mom and the masculine, strong, supportive, teaching dad, while also trying to work and provide. It's too much for any one person. That's why the family unit existed. That's why it was so strong, you know, back when it was the traditional family, because both men and women have unique gifts given to them by God that they contribute to make things work and to raise children in the best possible ways. So you've got generations of boys growing up without father figures to teach them what it means to be a man, what it means to be masculine, what it means to be strong and have boundaries and respect, you know, how to treat people appropriately. And not that moms can't teach these things, because there are some amazing moms out there, and God bless them. But by and large, like I said, it's too much for one person. So that single family, single parent family, single mom, again, stems from the things that we talked about in the previous videos. Socioeconomic factors, women's empowerment movement, not getting to take the time to, you know, establish a healthy, strong, and lasting bond with your partner before you have kids. But now, on top of growing up without that masculine figure, now you've got, you know, so many female influencers, or women in general that, for whatever reason, decided that the empowerment movement was right for them, yelling toxic masculinity, you know, saying, I don't need a man, saying you should provide for me just because of how I look, saying you're not a man if you're not 6 feet tall, you don't make six figures, you don't have your own home. You know, you're just doing so much damage to a young male psyche. And what do you expect they're going to grow up to be like? Do you think they're going to be all excited to go and meet some girl, just have her put him down and tell him what a piece of garbage he is because he's a man? Reverse the situation. How would you feel if you had a guy doing that to you all the time? And I know that there are guys who do that, and shame on those guys. The behavior, whether it's for male or female, is just garbage. So then you have these guys, they don't know what masculinity is about. They don't know how to be men. And because their ego has already been crushed before they've even had a first date, what do? Instead of, seeking out somebody to be that role model for them, that male role model, because they think they'll just get bashed for it even worse, they regress. They hang out with their buddies. They look for peaceful situations. They start playing video games. They avoid women. And now everybody's alone. And, to a point I get it. I'm not trying to judge these guys because, I was fortunate. I had male role models around. I had a dad. But at some point, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, am I what all these women tell me I am? Or am I something more and something better? And what can I do to change and improve myself? And that is a very large part of being a strong, successful man. That is masculinity. Not shrinking in the face of negativity, but standing up, taking accountability for your part in it all. Because yes, even though you have these outside, influencing factors, you have responsibilities for yourself, and you have to take accountability for the choices you made and the choices you're about to make. Because man or woman, no matter what, once you learn that you are the only one that can affect change in your life and can make it better, once you learn that you're that person and nobody else can, then it comes down to, are you strong enough to make that decision and follow through? And again, that is a huge part of masculinity for men. So for any guys out there that are still sitting in the basement and you're still playing video games and you're still avoiding the world, take a look in the mirror. Is that who you want to be? Because I doubt it is. And while it's easy and, can be fun and all that, why would you want to spend your life indoors playing a simulation? There's so many better things you could be doing with your time. And when you do build yourself up and you do give yourself the respect you deserve because you learned your value and your worth, and you set healthy boundaries, and you show this not through words going around telling everybody, but through your actions and the way you carry yourself and what you will and won't allow, then your life changes for the better. Then you start meeting the good women that are out there. The women who are looking for a strong, healthy, caring, communicative, supportive partner. You're not going to find it in front of a computer screen. So, to all those guys out there that are just being passive, I'm not telling you got to go out and beat your chest and scream and whatever nonsense they show in the movies. I'm telling you, man to man, I believe in you. You have worth, you have value, you should respect yourself. You can be so much more than you are, and you can enjoy so much better a life. But you got to take responsibility for it. As the saying goes, man up. And there's a reason for that saying. So if you're going to sit back and cry and say, I am this way because these people told me to be, shame on you. Shame on them for saying any of that or doing any of it or whatever. But shame on you for listening. Nobody has the right to tell you how to live your life. Just you. So take it back. Hit the gym. Clean yourself up. Feel good about yourself. Set healthy boundaries and enforce them. You'll be amazed at how much your life transforms. So, to all you guys out there, I'm masculine enough to tell you that I do see you all for who you really are, and I do truly love you all for it. So come on, guys. Masculinity is not toxic. It's strength, and it's time to take it back. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one, everyone.